Hi everybody, it's Lisa Steinkoff, the Houseplant Guru. I want to talk to you today about repotting plants. I've recently got some new purchases here, so I want to talk to you about them. All right, the first thing I want to talk to you about is bulbous pots. Okay, I love going to the Salvation Army antique stores, but in my independent garden center as well, and finding pots. I thought this was so cute. It's got little ivy on it. No drainage hole, but that's easily fixed with a diamond tipped drill bit, which I've shown you before. But what I don't like about this is it has a lip. I don't know if you can see that. It has a lip under here. So whatever you plant is going to be hard to get out if you need to repot it or uppot it, because you're going to have to use a knife to cut, because this part will be full of roots, but it won't be able to come out because of that lip. Another thing you don't want to plant in pots with rims are rhizomatous plants such as Sansevieria. So see how that's pushing out that root, and then if it comes up underneath this lip, it's going to hit it, and it's going to be almost impossible to get it out unless cutting it out. So, because when these first come up, they're just tiny, right? And it's going to hit that rim. So even though I liked it, I bought it. I may find something for it that might be able to stay in it for a really long time. Really steer away from these bulbous pots with lips, especially, okay? Or anyone with this big, huge lip right there that your plants are going to catch on. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the other day I was on with Katie Dubow from the Garden Media Group. We did a little Facebook Live. You can find it on Facebook on my Houseplant Guru page. So I had gotten this. It was in a 4-inch pot. It's a little bird's nest Sansevieria / Dracaena. Okay, so I found a pot that wasn't, maybe a little bit bigger because it had this new growth, a little bit bigger than the 4-inch pot. But then as we were repotting it, I was doing it with her, I realized that when I took it out, there's not much of a root system, is there? That's it. And most Sansevierias don't have a really deep root system. So if you can find what they call an azalea pot or a bulb pot, there are pan that are really quite shallow, that works well for Sansevieria. So, but I found this little old pot. This is an antique. I don't know where I got it. Something must have died in it. So I'm going to use this. It's not too much bigger than the plant. It does have a good space for its roots, but I have it in a nice bright, my sunroom. It'll stay out here. So it has good sun, so it's going to grow well. So I'm not worried about it getting root rot because I'm watering it and it can't use up all the water that's in this extra potting medium that's going to be in here, right? So it depends on your plant, how far you up pot, what kind of pot you choose. This is also a clay pot, so it's porous, so water will escape through that way too, through the walls. So I use a piece of screen. It's just a piece of window screen. I put it over the hole, and then I'm going to pot this plant up. Okay, you probably don't need to see me. Hey, I use a scoop. I love my little scoops. So you're gonna always leave a little bit of room to water your plant, right? You don't want to plant it right up to the top, because then when you water it, all the water will flow right over the side, right? You're not going to, pack it in too much, just a little bit. I'm going to water it in really well, and I have room, at least a good up to my first knuckle for me to be able to water it, and it has room to grow. Okay, so that's my first plant. Okay, I also bought this really cool fern. We'll do this in a minute. Sorry. That's my piggy bank plant that I got. So I got this fern. I was really excited. It is called a walking fern, Asplenium rhizophyllum. I didn't even look it up. I'm assuming it's the right name. But when you have these walking ferns or footed ferns, I guess you can't see me. You don't really want to though. This is one I planted and I showed you guys a while ago. Even though I didn't plant this plant in the middle of the pot, because see how its little fuzzy feet were coming out to the side? This is a rabbit's foot fern. So I found an oval pot. See, it's an oval. You can see better from the bottom, and I drilled a hole in it. So I planted it over to the side because that would give those roots those little feet that were heading this way, room to grow. I mean, there's some on this side, but they really seem to be going that way. So don't worry about planting a plant in the center of the pot if that's not the way it's growing. Right? So I found this oval pot. I got it at the Salvation Army. I loved it. It's green. It's kind of a mint green. It has a cool thing on the side. So oval, it has a hole. I think it was already there. Got my screen. Okay, so I haven't even taken this out of the pot yet. See how it's called? It's called a walking fern. So it's really kind of like that footed fern. But see how it's kind of going that way? So I'm going to, but then I see that there is one over here. So I probably will plant this in the middle. And I'm just going to dump it out. Good thing I'm out here in the greenhouse or the sunroom because there's dirt everywhere anyway. Whew. Oh. And see, I usually use shallow pots for my ferns too because see how much soil fell away? Oh no, there's my little, things are falling over here, people. Guess it's definitely walking. Oh my gosh, this was down inside and look, there's more little rhizomes coming up. Can you see those? Let me get over here close. Can you see those? Look at that. So I guess this is, and then you can see the roots on this side. Fern roots aren't usually white, they're brown and they look a little fuzzy. Oh my goodness, I guess this is more of a mess than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, that's okay, I'm good with messes. All right, so I am going to put this in here. I'm getting dirt everywhere. That's okay. That was very wet. I have not watered it since I bought it. Just bought it the other day. Okay, so, whew, things are falling. This is definitely a fern that walks, right? That just means that when anything that's, like, there's things called walking irises too. Anytime anything says it's walking, that means it's gonna spread, right? And outside, that would probably mean it's invasive. So you don't always want it. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this down in here. Maybe I put a little bit too much soil in there because remember I want that lip to be able to water. I'm getting so dirty. That's okay, I'm okay with that. I lost my little walk. See, he was already sticking up, so I'm gonna try to make him stick up again. Okay, can you see that little, see my little walker? He's right there, and I'm gonna leave him on top of this, you know, make sure he's back out again. And then I'm gonna use some, I mix my own soil. Maybe I'll do a blog post about that if you guys are interested. I don't know if I've told you before, I'm sure I have, that we own a garden center. So, and because I have about 1,000 houseplants, I don't even know how many I really have. I'm not gonna count them. Don't ask me to. I order my soil, my husband orders it for me in huge bags. Like bags are as tall as me almost. And then I mix my own. I use vermiculite, perlite, and all different kinds of, but I never use, and I do not use plant stuff that has soil moist in it to make it, you know, some kind of, I should say a polymer. I shouldn't say soil moist. That's a brand name. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody. I'm sure those work great for what they're meant for outside. They're better outside. So and I don't use anything with fertilizer in it. I want to put my own fertilizer in. I want to be in charge of that. I don't want someone else to do that for me. Okay. So even though, I was going to plant this further that way. I'm so dirty now. Sorry. But see those little legs can stick over, and then that little one is coming up over here and sticking out. So this is called, again, Asplenium rhizophyllum. I have not looked it up. I'm hoping that's what it is because I just got it and I'm very excited about it. I love ferns. And if you didn't know that, you do now. Okay. Whoops. And I think I just broke the pot. Okay. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay. Then I got this little, I want to talk to you about downsizing. So kind of like with that Sansevieria, I really downsized because I can't put my hair behind my ears because my hands are so dirty. Because when I unpotted it, I found out that the root system wasn't what I thought it was, right? So usually you're going to up pot, or at the very least repot into the same size pot. Okay, so this is a little crown of thorns. Isn't it cute? And I'm going to take it out. I haven't taken it out yet. I don't know the name. Whew. And it does have some roots down at the bottom. Can you see that? But it's not horribly well rooted. It was probably a cutting, right? So I'm using this little, it's totally falling apart. Totally falling apart. That's what I get for trying to do something. All right, I'm going to put there is a hole in this pot. It's an antique, but it does have a hole in it. I'm going to put my little screen in there. I'm going to put a little bit of soil in there, potting mix, I should say, potting medium, and I'm going to put him in. I'm going to put him in the middle. He wasn't really growing in the middle or growing upright. It's okay to, as long as you're not potting a plant deeper than it was before, it's okay to, you know, I'm going to straighten it up because it was kind of growing crooked. I'm just going to put it in, and then I will water it in. So isn't that a cute pot? I love the pot, and I love that little yellow crown of thorns, which is Euphorbia milli. Okay, real cute. All right, I also got this fern. This, there was no name on it. I'm assuming it's some kind of Asplenium, Hart's Tongue Fern, something. Don't hate me because I don't know. I didn't look it up. It's a fern and I love it. Okay, so I'll let you know later. But what I really liked is this fern pot. So this is made by Burley Clay. And if you can find Burley Clay at your local independent garden center, what's nice about them is they are made in America. Made in America. And isn't that pretty? Look at those ferns. I love this pot. It might not be the only one I have. I might have the exact same pot elsewhere in the house. Okay, so here's this. This one is dry. I can tell you that. It's a little beat up. I've already taken some of the leaves off because it was kind of beat up. It's definitely full of roots. Got lots of roots. So I might actually cut this up. I do have a knife. I always have a handy knife handy. I might just give it a few cuts to let it, you know, just look at, see, I'm just, oh, sorry, I just cut it, slice it a little bit so that the roots are loosened up a little bit, because this is root bound. This is what a root bound fern looks like. You may look at it and go, oh, it isn't root bound because you don't see any white roots, but ferns have brown roots, right? So I'm going to put it in this. I thought it looked good in this, even though this is a frilly, you know, frondy fern, and this is different, more like, I'm going to put it in there. I've run out of soil, but I don't know about you guys, but in my house, sorry, I'm going all over the place. When I mix soil, I mix a lot. So I use these containers, these plastic containers, and it's full of soil. And I mix my soil, and I put, and I use this big old scoop, very scientific. One scoop, one scoop, one scoop of this, one scoop of that, one scoop, and that's so unlike me, because when I bake, I need to know the exact. I'm not a cook. I'm a baker, and I like knowing exactly what to use. Aren't I making a mess? I like making messes. It's all right. Okay, so I fill this up. I want to make it sure that it's at the right level. Oh, definitely got too much. Too much. Too much still. Okay, so that's just right, and it has some room to grow. I could probably even put this in a bigger pot, I'm not gonna lie to you. And with ferns, you want a little bit of room, because guess what? They need a lot of water. They like water. They like to not dry out. So having a little bit of extra room is not gonna hurt it while I'm making a mess. You guys make a mess when you pot your plants? Because I sure am. And that's okay. All right. A little bit more on this side. I'm gonna water it in really good. And look at that gorgeous, gorgeous pot. And they're not that expensive. I think this was like $25 and 20% off, so that wasn't bad. Look at that beautiful fern. Okay, the other plant I bought was, these aren't always easy to find, so if you can find one, grab one. And it's very dry. It's been out here in the greenhouse. I'm gonna tell you, I let it dry out. This is a pretty big plant, and it was in a really small pot, so it is time to up pot this plant. And I'm gonna up pot into this plant, this pot, which looks more, what's the word I'm looking for? Proportionate. But it's gonna, these also do not like to dry out. I just did a post about this on Instagram the other day. That's the Tolmia menziesii. I think that's how you say it. I'm not real great with those names. And it does not like to dry out. It's from the northwest coast. It's, you know, it's native to like Washington, Oregon, out that way. And it grows as a ground cover, so it likes it cool. It likes it moist. So I don't think in any way, shape, or form I'm making such a mess up potting this too much, which you can do. Don't over pot your plants, you guys, because they should only go up one pot size, because if it's too much wet soil sitting around your roots and they can't use it, especially if it's a low light plant and it's not using as much, lower light, less water use, it will rot your plant. So that is very dry. I will water it as soon as I am done here. And then my last plant is a little begonia. I did write down the name and I forgot. It just says Rex begonia. And I am not going up very big. I'm kind of just repotting this plant. And that means I'm just taking it out of the unattractive, in my opinion, utilitarian grow pot, and I'm going to put it, screen, into in my opinion, a prettier pot. I actually got this at our garden center. I love it. It's a clay pot. It kind of looks aged and mossy. Isn't that cute? I love it. And I'm gonna plant this begonia in it. And so I'm really just kind of repotting, not up potting, not down potting, just repotting it into a pot pretty much the exact same size because it's not root bound. It's a begonia. They don't want to have a lot of excess soil around their roots. You know, they kind of treat these begonias like succulents because they kind of have those really succulent stems. So isn't that cool? And I love this pot. And so there you go. So sometimes you need to repot just into the same size pot it was in before. Down pot, down size, because this didn't have a lot of root system, and I think it was just starting to grow. So I'm gonna put it in, I just went down a little bit from a pot like this size down to this, okay? And then my fern, I up potted a little bit because it was, you know, it was pretty root bound. This was definitely root bound and in too small of a pot. Aren't these cool with their little piggyback plant, a little tiny plantlets on top of mom? And then, where'd my other plant go? Oh, down here. Then you're gonna plant them. You don't have to put them in the middle if you don't need to, because this is a walking pot and I did break it when I put it down. So annoyed. That's okay. I don't mind, it's pretty. I can glue it back on or not. But it's walking, so I got this long pot, and if I would have planted it way over here, but then when I went to repot it, I saw that it had another little foot coming out over there. So I kind of planted it like that, and it will fill this pot, and then it will start going over, and I like that. That's that Asplenium rhizophyllum, it said. I will have to look that up. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. There you go. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I'm looking forward to seeing my daughters tomorrow, and hopefully you'll get a plant and you can repot it. Okay? Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.